What's going on, Audioholics? This is Audioholics Unite, and today we are doing the Persistence of Time album by Anthrax, released on 1990. This is one of my favorite bands, personally. I'll go into a little bit of my backstory, and then my co-host here, Logan, can talk about his non-existent history with this band. So Anthrax was a band I discovered a few years back after I listened to Metallica, and I was like, hey, are there other bands like Metallica? And then I discovered Anthrax. I mean, obviously I knew Slayer exists, but I've never liked Slayer. Same deal with Megadeth. Anthrax has always been my favorite band since then, as far as like thrash metal is concerned. They are just on a whole nother level, in my opinion. Their tempos, their riffs, the vocals. I love Joey Belladonna. He's my favorite singer in thrash metal. And in this album, he's really good. He's really good in Persistence of Time. It's very non-melodic, very dark, very heavy. All right, well, Logan, what do you have to say about your very long and detailed history with Anthrax?
Well, okay, I do have a history with Anthrax, but it's hardly the history that you have. So he got me into, was the name of the album Caught in a Mosh or?
Among the Living.
Among the Living, right. So he got me into the Among the Living album, and the song that immediately really jumped out at me was Indians. That's like one of my favorite tracks. But, so I haven't really listened to much Anthrax beyond that. I've listened to the track Madhouse, but at the same time, I've listened to enough Anthrax to know that they are good. And they are something that I like and something that I would like to get more into. Whether all of their albums are good, I don't know. I'm sure they aren't. I'm sure there's probably... I'm imagining there's got to be like some sort of black spot in their
they have to have, as far as I know,
they have to have.
Like, I should probably tell you guys that I've only ever heard Persistence of Time once, and I've heard like some tracks here and there since then. But other than Persistence of Time, I've heard Spreading the Disease, which was their sophomore effort after their first album, which I haven't heard because Joey Belladonna is not the vocalist. Fistful of Metal. So I've heard Spreading the Disease. I've heard Among the Living, obviously. State of Euphoria, and now Persistence of Time. I have heard literally no other Anthrax album after that, except for their most recent one, For All Kings, which was the album that got me into Anthrax, actually. Yeah. In 2017, when the deluxe edition came out, I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this is really fucking good.
All right. Well, I think without further ado, we can rant about the band in a little bit. One thing I will just say, the link to the album, as always, will be in the description. I highly recommend using AdBlock for the best listening, viewing combination experience. And without further ado, the magical countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, and go. First song is called Time.
Now, one thing I should tell you right now...
Is this going to be as good as Pink Floyd's Time?
What?
Is this going to be as good as the Pink Floyd song?
I can't say I remember that song.
You need to listen to Dark Side again.
Yeah, I don't remember anything off of Dark Side.
Dude, well, you need to fix that shit.
I know. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to do it for my Pink Floyd video on getting into prog.
You're not waiting for shit. You're doing it tonight.
By the way, I love that, like how the clock ticking turns into a drum and then a guitar riff, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you could say right away is that this song is badass riffs. One thing I want to warn you about is the songs on this album are a lot longer than you're probably remembering with Anthrax. This song is 6 minutes and 55 seconds long.
Well, I will say this. Well, I mean, I guess it goes without saying that I've never listened to this album before, and he has.
But, like I said, I heard it once, and I've listened to select tracks off of it since then. Keep It in the Family, I listen to a lot.
Yeah. But what did you say the vocalist's name was?
Joey Belladonna.
Joey Belladonna is probably my favorite aspect of this band. I can immediately say that. I thought
He's a
that
great
when I
voice.
first heard him.
I don't know. There are just so many good aspects of this band. The drumming is always top notch. The guitar riffs are amazing.
On this song, it's a pretty simple beat. Like,
no, but it's like the intricacies, the fills, and things like that that make the drumming in Anthrax.
Yeah, I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. I wouldn't necessarily, so far on this track, say that it's a highlight, but we have an entire album to go, so.
Yeah. So as far as Anthrax having a bad album, the only one that I think the community has, like, collectively agreed isn't all that great is called, like, 8, The Threat Is Real. And that was an album that they made after Joey Belladonna left. There is like a small history of Anthrax where they have a few albums without Joey Belladonna.
Is he like in the bands now?
He came back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like, okay, is it like Saint Anger levels bad or no?
I don't know. I haven't heard it. What I do know is there are staunch defenders of that album. There are a lot of people who will say that's their favorite Anthrax record, so it can't be that bad.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anyone say Saint Anger was their favorite.
Yeah, I wouldn't know a single anybody who says Saint Anger is good is an absolute lunatic.
Yeah, so it can't be that bad.
Watch my Getting Into Metallica video.
Yeah, that video was really long though.
Yeah, still.
I mean, they all are. All of our Wrong Opinion videos are.
It was one of the shorter ones though. It was under an hour, I think. Life and Death are.
The System of a Down video is going to be nice. It's going to be a very short one.
Yeah. How long is this album? Do you know?
58 minutes. I think that's along the same line as like the other albums they've done.
Yeah. About an hour. That's like
around an hour.
You know what's interesting is like the interesting thing though is like how like a lot of these thrash bands like Metallica and Anthrax and things like that, like they have like this deep punk influence. I mean, like thrash is really essentially like metal fused with punk. But the thing they don't carry over is the short album lengths. Like this album is almost an hour long. Every Metallica album, I think after the Black Album, like the Black Album and onward is like over an hour. Like,
yeah, thrash bands can make some long albums, and to their detriment sometimes. Yeah. Like the Newest Testament, as much as I love that album, it's a great thrash record. My biggest problem with it, you could have cut 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah.
You didn't need it to be an hour long.
Metallica, that's the thing with Metallica is like, depending on their albums, they're either like long enough to where you don't notice how long they are. Like the Black Album, would you have known that is an hour-long album? Probably not, because like all the songs kind of go by so fast, and most of them are pretty good. But something like Lulu or Saint Anger, or even it's interesting, like, people talk about, like, oh, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, it's too long. No, it's about as long as most of the Metallica albums. It's just as long as the Black Album.
Yeah. I think it's just that, like, the tracks drag a little longer for some people.
I guess.
Like, they feel like they drag.
Yeah.
And that's something I'll say about this album is I don't really think any of the songs, for me at least, felt like they dragged. But I could definitely see you making that criticism later.
I would not say that this drags yet.
Well, it's about over.
Yeah, it's about over. I would not say this song drags.
Yeah, you can probably already notice a difference. Like, there pretty much is no chorus in these songs. Yeah. I mean, there is, but it's so non-melodic.
Yeah, this reminds me of like early. I'm sorry, I'm making a lot of comparisons to Metallica. That's the majority of my thrash experience. It reminds me of early Metallica, early Megadeth, like just straight raw thrash, something like Kill 'Em All or whatever Megadeth's first album was, but like obviously better produced.
Yeah,
And
Anthrax always has
just
really good
like
production.
I love how it just fades out with the drums just going hog wild. Like, okay, fine, whatever.
Blood is what we are on now at 7 seconds.
Blurred.
Blurred. Blah.
Like,
Fun fact. Apparently that Dracula never said that in that
yeah,
movie.
I was
Like,
gonna say, like that reminds me of like the old Dracula movies where they like apparently made him say blurred. Like, I don't know, but maybe I'm just younger, but I never knew that was a trait of Dracula.
no, but he doesn't say that in the movie. Like, there's this
Okay.
huge myth that he goes blah blah in the movie, like blah blah, but he doesn't. He never does that.
You know
It's a
one of the
little weird, actually,
you know
if
what's
people
interesting
remember
is
that. But he
like
doesn't do it.
there's like a couple of those. I mean, like, that you could get into like the whole Mandela effect, and half the time it's just people misremembering shit. But like one of the most interesting ones is in I think it was all of the series of Star Trek, maybe one of them he did, but I think in like at least in the original series, he never said "Beam me up, Scotty." Nobody ever said "Beam me up, Scotty."
Also, Silence of the Lambs. Like people always think when they first meet Clarice, he goes, "Hello, Clarice." No, he doesn't. He says something else.
It was like "Good evening, Clarice" or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like good evening or good morning or something like that. He doesn't even say her name.
I can tell you, like, one of the times, I can tell you the one time I can immediately think of like the Mandela effect. And that was that I swear to God, Katy Perry's Firework was auto-tuned to hell. And then when I started dating Tenny and she was an ex of mine. When I started dating her, she's like a huge Katy Perry fan, and she like called me on that. I was like, I swear to God, it was like caked and auto-tuned.
I mean, it probably was. 90% of pop is.
No, it wasn't.
Probably always will be.
Go back and listen to the song "Firework" by Katy Perry. There was like no auto tune, or at least noticeable auto tune in that song.
I mean, there may not have been noticeable auto tune, but there's no way there was no auto tune.
I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe I just got it confused. I mean, like a lot of songs, especially around that time, were caked in auto tune, but must have just like gotten it. Like I thought I remembered it being like maybe I got it confused with Lady Gaga's Bad Romance, but I can't remember if that had autotune or not either.
One of my favorite things involving autotune was like this comeback once where this dude was on like I think it was like American Idol or something, and Demi Lovato was one of the judges, and he sang and he sucked, and Demi Lovato was like, "Yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't be a singer." And he's like, "At least I don't use a shit ton of autotune. At least I actually sing."
Damn.
And like the judges just fucking lost it.
I remember the most egregious use of autotune was Mariah Carey's "Obsessed" song. Like, you're Mariah Carey, best singers
so
of all time. Why are you using autotune? I mean, like now we know in hindsight she can't sing as well anymore. But I mean, like that was what 2008. She could still sing. That was like what a couple years after "Touch My Booty." Like,
what I don't understand about autotune is, am I the only one that likes imperfection in my music? Am I the only one who likes it when a singer
I
does it
think it's more
perfectly
so
on
like
tune all the
it's just
time?
egregious to me. Like if you can't sing and you don't really offer any kind of redeeming quality to the music, then why do you have a career?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I don't know, like even the fucking Beatles made mistakes in their albums,
yeah,
dude.
exactly. Like, there's like an
It's part of what
entire
makes it
song where
authentic.
like Paul's voice cracks on a hard day's night. But I mean, like, yeah. Speaking of this album, though, speaking of albums that are good and don't need auto tune, Jesus, this is a good album. I would not say I haven't listened to Among the Living in a little while. I think so far I still like that album better.
I'm actually learning the first song on that album on guitar right now. It's very hard. Mostly because it's so fast.
Yeah.
But I have to say that starting at that shit is badass to play.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Can you play any of this on guitar?
I haven't learned anything off of this album, but I think I'm gonna try and learn "Keep It in the Family."
How far is that? Oh, that's the next
The
one.
next song. I've gotten a lot better. Like last time we played together, I couldn't even do like triplets or like alt picking or anything like that. I can do all of that now. Yeah, this is a really good solo. And one of the best parts about Anthrax is Scott Ian. He is the lead player. Probably my favorite guitar player in thrash. I say that tentatively
Who's the
because I
guitarist?
forget what his name is, but the guy from the guy from Testament. That dude is really fucking good. The lead player from Testament.
Who's the dude from Anthrax?
Scott Ian.
Scott Ian.
I know his name because he's like a huge media presence. He's done like tons of interviews and stuff, but I forget the dude from Testament's name.
I'm sure he's a douchebag like all the other people named Scott.
I mean, I don't know. He seems like a nice guy.
Scott Stepp from Creed.
Fuck that guy.
Michael Scott from The Office.
Oh, we all love him. Come on.
Okay, yeah, but he's a total dick.
I ever tell you my girlfriend hates The Office?
Oh my god, that's like the first sensible thing she's ever done.
I thought
Okay,
you
I don't.
liked The Office.
I like it, but it's like it's overrated.
That's true. Like
Like,
half of the humor in that show is just screaming humor, and that's really not all that funny.
no, like I was watching Seinfeld, and I've been watching Seinfeld, rewatching it a lot lately on Hulu, and it just goes to show how timeless Seinfeld really is.
I need to give Seinfeld another chance.
It's on Hulu. Check it out.
I know. This is Keep It in the Family. We're on 9 seconds.
Okay, I immediately love this riff.
I know, and it gets better.
This is like really like slow and heavy, like almost doomish, like Sabbathy. Wait, no, is it gonna speed up? Yeah,
It does, yeah.
Yeah. No, not really.
Oh, no, it speeds up more.
Oh, okay.
This is do you remember when I was like texting you in the car about this album and I was like, holy fuck, this riff is so good.
Yeah.
It was this song that I was talking
yeah.
about.
You know what you should do when you're done with like the top 50 albums of all time list? You should do like maybe top 10 or top 20 riffs.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Okay, this is immediately my favorite song on the album. So
yeah,
far.
it's so good.
I could not imagine Anthrax without this vocalist.
I don't know, but I've heard like a few albums with the different vocalists. I don't know his name is really good. Oh, John Bush, I think was his name. Here's where it gets really fast. Dude, I love this song. Because it takes that initial riff idea from the beginning and just evolves it. Like even the chorus riff is just an alteration of that riff.
Yeah.
That's kind of just ingenious, I think.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we will never see that genius because we're not on the level of a band as genius as, Anthrax or the Shags. I mean, they're basically on the same level, but, a true elitist would not put them on that level.
Well, I know you say that, but don't you remember in our Anthrax video,
I mean,
the
the,
Shags
the
video,
Shags video,
Anthrax just fucking burst out of the room and came in and
oh yeah.
played an entire set during the
Okay, should
album.
we? Okay, Tyler, should we can this joke?
Never.
I don't know. It's getting old. I think we
Don't
need
you
to.
know repetition makes jokes funnier? Fuck.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
Well, we
I
will
think we
end
need
it
to.
in our 100th podcast.
I think we should like go until like our 50th podcast when we um display the unreleased, unedited Shags episode. I have it on a hard drive somewhere, but it's
I
long.
thought you said it got fucking destroyed.
Well, see, what had happened was the cloud backed it up.
Oh.
No,
So
I'm
we
kidding.
really could release it.
No, I'm kidding. It was destroyed.
Oh, fuck.
But for the lore, let's say that it wasn't, and it's hidden deep down.
For the lore?
It's hidden deep down below the Earth's surface. We better get good at editing so we can like green screen that by the time we do our 50th episode.
Man, that's a whiles away, though.
Yeah. Oh, what are we at now? Like
What
almost.
is this?
What are we at? Like 15?
I don't know.
15, 20, something like that? I don't know. Yeah, this song is just way to keep it in the family.
Anthrax was always known for like having a bit of humor about them and like having lyrics that were about comic books and stuff like that, which made them kind of different from bands like
Yeah.
Metallica and Slayer. This is the album where they kind of just destroy that and start going super serious dark territory.
Well, I don't know about
Really
you.
likes that, but part of me hates it too.
I don't know. I think the Unknown Soldier was my favorite comic.
The Unknown Soldier.
Soldier. But shit. No. I made the wrong reference. What was the song that inspired one?
Johnny Got His Gun.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's my favorite comic book.
Yeah, it's the best comic book ever.
H.P. Lovecraft does the best comics.
Cory in the House is the best comic written by H.P. Lovecraft.
Exactly.
Do you remember when you like fucking brought up Cory in the House and like one of our guests thought you were like completely serious when you said you didn't know what it was?
Oh yeah, that happened with a friend and I.
Yeah.
Like a mutual friend.
He just kept going on and on, acting like he didn't know what it was, and this dude did not pick it up at all.
Man, he and his girlfriend were meant for each other.
No kidding. Oh god.
Oh my god, this song is still going, and I don't want it to ever stop.
Like I said, these songs are all like around 7 minutes long.
Exactly. Like, this is like how you do a 7-minute song. Take notes, Maiden.
It's funny you say that. Something that was pointed out to me recently, Maiden always had like proggy things about them in their music.
Yeah, but they knew when to
end.
end.
Like Peace of Mind and Power Slave.
Yeah, but they knew when to end a song.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is like a lot of people say that Maiden only starting to getting proggy like around after Fear of the Dark, I'd say.
Yeah, like
but
Fear of the
they
Dark.
always had that influence in their music.
Yeah, but like I think like Fear of the Dark is when they got really proggy, like Afraid to Shoot Strangers.
That's a really good song. Like I actually just recently watched a video of the band Avatar. So on, I think it's Loudwire that does this.
But
They do this series where they bring in guitar
before
players and have
before
them play their favorite riffs.
well
Have you seen
before
that?
well before you continue on, we are in my world.
We're on 12 seconds.
Um,
So,
I've never seen that video. No, I barely know who Avatar is.
so like they bring in like all kinds of guitarists. Scott Ian was in there once. I think Ghost was in there
Yeah.
once. A bunch of people. Anyway, on this video, they got the guys from Avatar because there's actually two players in Avatar. They're a twin guitar duo, and the one dude was playing "Afraid to Shoot Strangers," the lead,
Yes.
and I was like, "That sounds amazing. I need to learn that."
You do. It's such a great riff.
That
That might be one of my favorite riffs.
Oh, what's my favorite Maiden riff? That's so hard. There's so many good Maiden riffs.
Maybe like the
Pennsylvania.
main. Yeah, I was thinking Transylvania.
It's a really good song.
Like I like that one.
We're almost halfway through this album.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I really, really love Anthrax.
Yeah. Oh god, now you're making me think of like, you know what? I don't really like this album that it's on, but Wasted Years has a good riff.
It does. Yeah.
I need
What
to
was the
finish.
other song on that album that had like a really badass riff?
I don't know. Like, look,
Somewhere in time.
we'll need to like. I guess we'll need to do an Iron Maiden wrong opinion at some point, but
Sea of Madness. That song has a fucking badass riff.
yeah, I think Somewhere in Time is such an overrated album. I even think Peace of Mind is kind of overrated. I think of it in the same way that a lot of people think of Number of the Beast. A decent album with some good songs, but overall kind of meh. Meanwhile, I think like Number of the Beast is pretty much perfect, apart from maybe like one song. And I think that was like what, Plant or something.
For those of you who don't know, my microphone broke, so I'm having to use my phone to film this, and I'm like holding it with my hand the whole time, and starting to get really sore.
Yeah. Nice
So,
hand.
sorry about
Nice
that.
hands. Any hand fetishists in the audience will be thoroughly entertained.
Yeah. Dude, like I kind of just want to like just shut up and listen to the music because it's
Me
so
too.
good. This is the flaw with this podcast.
I know. That's why I've said before this is probably my least favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Maybe at some point we'll have to talk about like restructuring it, or I don't know, maybe just canning it all together.
We'll keep it going a little while longer, I think. Well, we got to make it to episode 50 so we can release that unreleased Shags episode.
Yeah, of course. You know,
in real life,
the coolest things about Anthrax as a band is that they sound so different. Like you listen to Slayer, Megadeth, and Metallica back to back, and
they
they're
all
all
sound
so
different.
similar, but Anthrax is a totally different beast.
I think they all sound different. Like Slayer is really hardcore. Metallica is like,
is it though? Like,
is like more poppy, and then Megadeth is more.
I guess if you like
kind of poppy, but
parts
like
of their career, then yes. But like, listen to Raining Blood next to Fight Fire with Fire, next to like Killing Is My Business. I mean, yeah, they sound different, but not so different that if
I can tell you
they were different bands,
I can tell you
could be convinced that they were the same band.
I can tell you this. I can't listen to Slayer because it's too heavy. It's almost like black metal.
I don't understand why you say that, because like the vocals really are not heavy at all. He's not even screaming.
Yeah, he
I mean,
is,
he does
isn't he?
falsetto vocals half the time.
I don't know. Maybe I've given Slayer so many chances. Maybe I need to give it another album that isn't the mainstream one.
It isn't Rain of Blood.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
I'll
don't get me wrong. Slayer was like the main influence for bands like Death and Possessed
yeah.
and Morbid Angel and stuff like that. But Slayer, in of itself, definitely didn't have like growls or anything like that in the songs.
I mean, if we can call King Diamond black metal, then
Yeah,
that
but
term means has nothing.
King Diamond is characterized by high pitched screams, which is why
More
they're
like
considered black
hair
metal.
metal screaming though. Like he sounds more like Halford than like.
Yeah, but Halford has a low end. King Diamond never has a low end. He constantly does the high pitched thing. That's what makes him unique.
I need to get more into King. You know what? After System of a Down, our next wrong opinion is going to be either Merciful Fate or King Diamond.
Yeah, we got to do one of those.
Merciful Fate wouldn't be too difficult, right? They don't have many albums, do they?
No. And honestly, not many of them are all that great. I think the first two are amazing. After that, they're pretty much hit or miss.
Maybe tonight I'll listen to Slayer. I'll like find like a top list of like the best Slayer albums and pick the one that isn't the obvious choice. Because that's the one I've tried to get into and I just can't.
Rain and Blood, yeah.
Is that
I
the
mean,
name of
I
the
don't think that's
album?
the best
I don't
Slayer
think
album.
it is.
Yeah, it's called Rain in Blood.
Oh, Rain in Blood. Okay. All right. We are on Gridlock.
Yeah, Gridlock at 42 seconds.
Yeah. Speaking of Gridlock, look at the DNC going on tonight.
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
don't care at all.
That was our political commentary for the day.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this whole election cycle has really, really just illustrated why I don't care about politics anymore. What's the
Yeah.
fucking point?
Yeah.
You know, like, you may not like Bernie for whatever reason, but Biden was always going to win. From the second he announced that he was running, the DNC backed him, and Bernie and everyone else had no chance. It was just a matter of how, because, you know, whatever candidate the DNC or the Democratic Party think is best, that's the candidate that's going to win the primary, and you have no say. You might think you have a say, you don't. The DNC has been shown, this has been proven. They have paid off people like CNN to basically slander people they don't like Bernie.
Well, I mean, I have like my own political views, and I'll discuss them in private. But yeah, I mean, like,
well, basically,
I definitely agree with you, though.
In the end of the day, you don't have a choice. It doesn't matter if you like Bernie or not. He was never going to win because the DNC didn't want him to win. The DNC is fucking corrupt. We know this. We've known this for years.
Well, I'll say this. The reason, you know what I will say, the reason I like Biden, and, you know, people are allowed to disagree with me, you know, vote for whoever you want to vote for. I don't mind. I don't want my political opinion to influence, you know, how you view me. I'm still the same person who likes kick-ass music. But to me, Biden kind of signifies the authoritarian left. Donald Trump is like the authoritarian right. Joe Biden is like the Donald Trump of the left that I always wanted.
Personally, I don't really like Biden. I think he is an establishment candidate. I think he's basically just Obama 2.0, and I think his presidency if he wins, will prove that. But I don't think he's going to win.
I think the thing with Biden, though, is that he has the potential to get more done than Obama. Because Obama, I think, wanted to get a decent amount of things done. He just wasn't able to because of all the partisan BS. I think Biden is the only person who's maybe not necessarily smart enough, but angry enough to push through it.
You might be right. I don't know.
But
all
anyway,
I know is I don't care anymore.
All I know is that this album the album kicks ass.
Yeah. By the way, South of Heaven, that's probably, or no, Seasons of the Abyss, that's probably your best bet for Slayer.
How old is that album?
I think that came out in 1992.
Oh, so it's a little bit newer. I'm guessing that one's like maybe a little bit more mainstream.
I don't know if I would really say any Slayer album is mainstream, but
didn't they do like a new metal album at one point that was really terrible?
Yes.
Why Slayer?
They weren't thinking straight.
Well, no, they were thinking with dollar signs in their head. That really impedes your vision. I guess that's what happened to me.
Thank God, another reason Anthrax is better, they never did a new metal album.
I don't know what they did, but I mean, like, do they have like really a lot of like diversity
in their discography?
Yeah.
To my knowledge, after Joey Belladonna left, they strayed a little bit away from thrash and went more groove metal.
That would be interesting. I guess, like, yeah, you would have to like change your sound up a bit if you were like changing a vocalist like this. Like, I could not see this dude doing groove metal.
No way. We are now in Intro to Reality at 12 seconds.
I'm guessing this is an intro track. Oh, no, it's not. I don't think it is. Oh, no, it's 3 minutes, so it could be.
Symphony X is another one of those bands that I really want to do on the rock.
I need to get into them, yeah. I don't think I've actually listened to it. I don't know if I've listened to a Symphony X album. You might have made me listen to one at one point.
I know I've made you listen to like a few tracks.
Maybe. Well, you know what? Send me one over Facebook and I'll look at it after the show.
Okay.
And then you'll have to also remind me what that Slayer album was.
Seasons in the Abyss.
Seasons in the Abyss.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Slayer's not really my thing either, but like the only Slayer album that I've really ever enjoyed was Seasons in the Abyss.
I feel like I should at least appreciate Slayer like everybody else, though. Like, not everybody loves Slayer, but I feel like everybody has this deep appreciation for them that I can't quite understand.
That I agree with, yeah. I mean, I appreciate Slayer. I respect Slayer, but I'm not a huge fan of them. Yeah. I do like that album, though. Seasons in the Abyss.
Like, I understand, like, I don't know, like, I keep thinking they're, like, too heavy for me, but... You know, I thought the same thing about Megadeth until I really gave them a listen, and now I'm kind of a Megadeth fan.
Me too, honestly. I used to really hate Dave Mustaine's vocals, but I don't know. It's just, maybe it's grown on me. Maybe I've just learned to tolerate it more. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think thrash necessarily has to have good vocals.
It doesn't.
I mean, like, would you really say Hetfield is an amazing vocalist? Like,
I mean, Joey Belladonna is my favorite vocalist in thrash, not because he's like some top tier fantastic technical
because vocalist. He's tolerable.
He's just the best of the bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good vocalist. I would totally seek him out in a different band or something, but like compare him to like, I don't know, who's a good metal vocalist? Rob Halford?
Probably. Yeah, obviously. No, there's no contest.
Yeah. I would say he's better than Ozzy, but that's not really...
Oh my god, listen to this instrumental, though. This is an intro track, but I guess, but, like, listen to this song.
Yeah, the instrumentals in Anthrax are really amazing. Scott Ian is a fantastic player.
He's still playing with a band?
Yeah.
Cool. Has he ever left?
I don't think he did ever leave. Might be wrong about that though.
Okay.
Joey Belladonna, like a lot of people consider him like the classic singer of the band, and I'd probably agree with that, but he's not actually the original singer. In
Was
their
he
debut album, they had a different singer.
Oh. So it's
I
sort of
don't
like
remember
Rush,
his name.
where like everybody just assumes it's Neil Peart, but it's actually like another dude, like I think John Rusty or something.
Yeah.
John Rutsey.
Except people actually listen to the debut Rush album. Nobody really listens to
Yeah.
debut Anthrax. Not to say that debut Anthrax is bad, it's just not anywhere near as good as Joey Belladonna Anthrax.
Did you unplug your headphones or something? Because it sounds different.
No, it didn't. Maybe I'm covering the microphone or something. Is that
I
better?
don't know. No, but it's good enough. Anyway, we are on Belly of the Beast. We are, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Your sound is like messed up for some reason.
Is it still messed up?
I don't know. Unplug. You have like headphones plugged in, right?
No.
I see headphones.
They're plugged into my laptop.
Okay. Well, whatever. You're still audible.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the annoying thing about my phone is that I have no idea how I sound.
Yeah. Could also just be your internet or my internet or something.
Yeah, that's possible. So the next song on the album is 2 minutes and 44 seconds long. It's the shortest one on the album. Hey, Logan, given what I've told you about this album before, can you guess what song it is?
It's the punk one, right?
Yeah, it's the one that I said
About
feels
the time, right?
out of place. I want to
Yeah.
hear what your thoughts are on this song and its placement in the album because, like, I could be convinced that it's perfectly fine where it is and it's a good song, but I'm just on the fence about it. I don't know. It's not a bad song or anything. It just feels like such a stylistic shift, you know?
Yeah. This is a good song, though.
Belly of the Beast.
Yeah. I still say Keep It in the Family is my favorite.
Yeah, oh, that's not even a contest for me.
Yeah.
Time is up there. I really love that song. I really like Gridlock too.
Which one?
Gridlock.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
One of the later songs, I forget which one it is, but one of the later songs is really awesome too. It might be Hate Red, I don't remember. It's either Hate Red or One Man Stands.
Oh, your audio was like came back for a little bit, but like
that's weird. I didn't do anything to it.
Oh, well now it sounds good.
Okay. Well, I guess I will take it.
All right. It must have been your internet or something.
Yeah, must have been. So, fun fact to everybody, I've been immersing myself in the Beatles recently. I've been listening to basically only the Beatles. Because for the longest time, I just haven't listened to much Beatles. And I decided like a week ago, you know what, it is time.
He's even doing like a vlog series. You should probably update that with the 2 Beatles albums we listened to together.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I've been doing like this little vlog series where I talk about my thoughts on each album. I'm keeping the videos below 5 minutes each if I can help it. And I should be uploading an update to that either today or tomorrow.
Yeah, do it. You should do it tonight so that like, because I'll be uploading the next Audioholics tomorrow.
I probably should, but I'm tired, so I don't know if I really want to. But I gotta say, like, I have a completely newfound appreciation for the Beatles that I didn't have before. Listening to their early stuff, I've been learning some songs by the Beatles to like accompany my listening experience. Yeah. I learned Eleanor Rigby, Day Tripper, Come Together. I'm gonna be learning more. Like the Beatles are not technically complicated to learn for the most part. I've realized a lot of their songs are simplistic chord-wise and how to play it, but there's something beautiful in the simplicity, you know?
How about Paperback Writer? That's like a really good like heavy riff that's pretty simple.
I might look into that one. There are a few. So we are now on Got the Time at 7 seconds.
I like the cowbell at the end. Yeah, not only was this like completely out of place, this feels like it belongs on a different album entirely.
I know, right? Like
Oh my god, what the hell? This sounds like Sum 41.
I
This
I
sounds
don't
like
even know what to make of this song.
yeah, so worst track on the album.
Honestly, like, is it enough to take it down much though?
Honestly, wait. I mean, for what it is, it's not bad actually. But
It's
this,
so weird.
yeah, it's just weird. It's just kind of like I don't know. I would have released this as like the B side to a single or something.
It was released as a single. I think this might have been the leading single for the
I
album.
guess maybe it was like something the record label wanted.
I don't know.
But
I have no
what
idea.
record label would want this in 1989? Unless they were really forward thinking and they saw like the rise of Green Day and Blink 182 on the horizon.
I don't know, but it totally sounds like maybe like a tiny little bit of a thrashier version of like
Yeah,
pop punk,
exactly.
doesn't it?
Like honestly, maybe like it's out of place, but at the same time, it's so ahead of its time.
The song's called "Got the Time" too.
Shit, maybe that's a sign. Maybe that's a sign that like Anthrax have come from the future and they're bringing future artifacts into the past. Say they wouldn't happen to have any songs about who's going to win this election, would they?
uh,
About next week's lottery numbers, perhaps.
well, there is a song on this album called "One Man Stands," so maybe there's a hidden message in there.
Whoa, one of them's going to die.
The very next song is called "Discharge," so
Oh no.
what would you do? Like, okay, so just fun question. What would you do if like Biden had a heart attack tomorrow and just died? What would happen?
We would get a much younger president. Probably Kamala Harris.
You think Kamala Harris would win against Trump in a general election?
I think he'd have a better chance than Biden. I think she'd have a better
Really?
chance than Biden. Yeah, because she's younger.
She is a lot younger.
And I
A
think
lot
she's
of
sort
people have
of better.
criticized Biden for picking Kamala Harris.
I think Kamala Harris is also better at like playing with the progressive crowd. So
Yeah, that's why I think like initially when I heard that Kamala Harris was the VP, I think I even said to you that it's a bad pick. I think I'm going to roll that back. Kamala Harris was a good pick.
yeah, for what it is.
I can't think of anybody who may have been better for what Biden was going for.
The only thing I could say, I wish it was Stacey Abrams, but I really hope she. I hope Stacey Abrams finds a place in Biden's cabinet if he wins. I've liked Stacey Abrams ever since she got on the scene back in 2018, and now I think, yeah, she spoke at the DNC yesterday or today, something like that. Um, I mean, I guess Elizabeth Warren, but
No.
like now, I think the problem with Elizabeth Warren is she's just too old.
Well, that and like the shit she pulled with Bernie
Yeah, but I mean, like, she's still a progressive
single-handedly
candidate.
hampered
So, I mean, like,
campaign.
I have my issues with Kamala as well, but I'm willing to set them aside. What song is this? We totally missed a song.
Hate Red. We're
What?
on 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Don't you get it, Logan? All this hate red. Like hatred, hate red. Yeah.
Oh my God. Is that supposed to be a pun? I'm the only one who is allowed to do puns here.
Well, remember the next song called One Man Stands, so it's got to be one of you. It's either you or whoever's making the puns in Anthrax.
Well, I think if we keep, arguing about that, we're going to be in gridlock. So we'll just have to agree to disagree in my world.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, it'll take up too much time.
I think, too much blood will be shed.
You should probably just keep it in the family,
Yeah.
Don't bring it out in the open.
Yeah.
We ain't got the time for this.
You already did that. Okay, we're done now.
No. I did the first song.
Yeah, time, and then there's
Got
another.
the time.
Oh, that's right. There's two
The other
songs
song.
of time
Fuck
in
you.
them. Your puns are as bad as the belly of the beast.
That was the worst one so far.
Come on, the belly of the beast has to be ugly. All the intestines and crap.
There are no intestines in your belly, dude.
I don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor.
Your belly is where food goes. So I guess there's probably an intestine connecting to the belly, but
Okay,
not inside, unless you're eating intestines.
Still, the stomach is gross.
True. Much like you. Much like your face.
Much like your puns, in fact.
I feel like my insult was better.
Well,
Yours just sounded like useless discharge.
Yeah. I
Get
hate
it?
the
The
color
last
red.
song is called Discharge.
I hate the color red.
Yeah, this is one of the worst puns I've ever heard. Hate red.
No, the worst pun I've ever heard was that Led Zeppelin song. Dire. I always thought it was Dire Maker, but then Tyler looked up an interview where he said it's supposed to be pronounced Jamaica, it's British. And he
Yes.
thinks it's hilarious when British people try to say, or American people try to say Dire Maker, and it's Jamaica. That's the worst pun ever. It's a bad pun because it's exclusive to people. It's gatekeeping people.
It's a gatekeeping pun.
Exactly. How can you gatekeep a pun? All right, we are on one man stands now.
At 18 seconds. So for those of you who enjoy this album, I suggest you go back and listen to Among the Living if you haven't already. State of Euphoria, apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently that's kind of like a controversial album. I don't know fucking how, because it's amazing. It has some of the band's biggest songs, Be All, End All, Antisocial. I don't get it, but apparently it's a controversial album.
What was the one with Madhouse on it?
That was their sophomore album, Spreading the Disease, and that's another really good album, but I would caution you, it does sound a bit different from this.
All right.
Their newest album,
oh my God, listen to that.
For All Kings, is really, 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 really good. Do not overlook that album.
What album?
It's called For All Kings. It's the newest one. It came out in 2016. Okay.
They haven't put out an album since 2016?
They're working on a new one. It's supposed to be out this year.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. I feel like every time I get into a new band, they put out an album like that year.
Yeah.
It just works out that way.
I need to the album I'm most interested in right now is it's not out now, but it will be by the time this is up. The new Killers album. I'm so hyped for that. We are definitely, in fact, it's probably already been posted a review of the new Killers album.
By the way, I was talking about a really good song towards the end of the album. It was this one,
Oh yeah,
One Man Stands. It's a
I
really
mean the
fucking good
guitar is
song.
really good on this one.
It also has like probably my favorite chorus of the song or of the album of the song.
If I had to say one thing about the vocal style is that while it's objectively the best I've heard out of thrash metal, the problem is that it kind of lacks some of the personality of somebody like Hetfield or Mustaine.
Honestly, I'd say like one of the main reasons why I like Joey is because he's much more unique. I think his voice is very unique.
I mean, have you ever heard, I mean, like Dave Mustaine or not, have you ever heard anybody quite like him?
Dave Mustaine, have you ever heard a cat die?
I could, you know what? I had 3 cats who died, and
They probably all sounded like Dave Mustaine in the end, dude.
yeah, I mean, they kind of did.
I will say, like, of all the songs on this album, this one does sound the most like Megadeth. In fact, like the chord progression in this song
Yeah.
sounds almost exactly like Tornado of Souls.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking back to when my cats were dying, I can say for a fact that they sound that Motley Crue or what's his name? Tommy Jones. Jones nowadays sounds exactly, and probably even back then, it sounded exactly like a cat dying.
Oh, you mean Vince Neil from Motley
Vince
Crue?
Neil, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what's funny? I bought a copy of Shout at the Devil on cassette the last time I went to First Floor Attic, and now I'm realizing that I have another copy of that. So if you have a cassette player,
Oh, Unleash the Archers comes out on Friday too.
what's that?
One of my favorite metal bands that's out right now.
What
New
kind
music.
are they?
They're just kind of like a traditional heavy metal band. A lot of like, Halford-esque vocals, but it's a woman who leads the band, so it's a little unique.
I'm interested in that. You know what? Maybe we could like we're gonna have to release them both in the same week somehow. Maybe we release one on Monday and one on Wednesday.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
Doc can release their B-sides album and the week after. That's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, we're not covering that though.
No, but I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Oh, John Petrucci's album comes out that day too. I'm most interested in that. Again, not something we're going to cover on the podcast because it's an instrumental album, but
yeah.
Should we cover S&M too? That's like a really big deal.
Is it out?
It's going to be out on the 28th. Yeah.
Well,
a week from Friday.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'll maybe have to record it a day or two later because I'll be moving back into school around that time, but I don't see why not. The problem is that I don't want to do as much prog because prog is like, and I said this with Tyler, I want to do less prog on this podcast because the thing with like the prog albums we did do, like the Haken albums and the Dream Theater album, is that they're like.
And by the way, we are now on Discharge. We're at 34 seconds.
This is the last song, right?
Yep.
The problem with that is like it's like good music in between like long stretches of nothing where we have to like figure out like, oh yeah, that ambience is impressive. That noodling on an organ is impressive. Like I don't really like prog, but more to the point, it's just not interesting to talk about. But then again, that hasn't stopped you.
I mean, I think my biggest problem with prog is that it goes on a bit too long. Like it's fine when I'm on my own or whatever, but on the podcast, it's not even that like there's nothing to talk about. It's just that the album's an hour and a half long and it's hard to fill an hour and a half with, you know, interesting dialogue.
I think my biggest problem with my trip hop series is I was at first afraid that like a lot of the bands would sound the same, and I was wrong. There's a surprising amount of variety in trip hop. More so, it's just a lot of the albums that I cover are just like one trick that kind of runs dry, and I have to somehow make that interesting. Like, okay, here's the exact same song again.
And again and again and again and again.
I mean, it's still good, but you know, you can only take a formula so long. But then, like, some try to have too much variety, and it just doesn't work. So you kind of have to. The perfect album is one that's able to flow coherently while also having enough variety to not keep it samey. That's what I think a perfect album is. You have to find that middle ground, and it's very difficult.
I'd say like if I were to honestly, like I think my getting into prog series has worked tremendously. I wanted to get into prog. I'm into prog. Prog is most of what I listen to now. Dream Theater, Gentle Giant, yes, like all these bands, Porcupine Tree. That's most of what I listen to right now. So I think like my series has worked tremendously in terms of like whether or not it got me into the genre.
I would say that I don't. Oh, okay. Continue what you're saying.
I was gonna say, but like that's a double-edged sword because I realized when I was doing the Camel video, like some of it. How do I say this in a way that doesn't make me sound like an asshole?
Well, you're talking about prog stuff. That's kind of unavoidable.
Some of it is generic.
Yeah.
You know, like some of it is generic prog. So you have like unique bands like Gentle Giant, like Yes, like Porcupine Tree. And then you have bands who try to be those bands.
Yeah.
And Camel is a band that was clearly inspired by that wave of 70s prog, but not a very unique band. And so, like, what I've realized, by the way, the album's over. I'll just finish what I'm saying. And
not over for me yet.
Oh, you must have been slightly behind.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, the problem I've realized with that Camel video is that, like, now that I've heard all of the best prog, anything but the best sounds generic and boring to me. And that's kind of the issue I've had.
Yeah, so I'll touch on 2 points, and then we'll get to rating the album. First thing, just a bit of an aside, something you might be happy about. I might be kind of starting to get into Cactus.
Oh, that's cool.
I heard, what is it, the song Evil, I think Evil Walks or Evil Ways or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I'd heard that from somewhere before. It must have been like a car ad or something. But that riff is so familiar.
Yeah, Evil, I think that might actually be a cover. I know Cactus did a few of those.
Maybe it is.
Because I actually discovered Cactus. So there's this band called, holy shit, I am completely blanking. Clutch. Clutch did a cover of Evil, and that's how I found Cactus.
I need to get more into them as well. They did some good ZZ Top covers as well.
Yeah, Clutch is really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as far as ranking the album's concerned, really what it comes down to is Got the Time. Is that song enough to bog the album down? I mean, yes, it's out of place, so we can't say it's a perfect 10 out of 10 album, but is that song alone enough to like bring it down a point or 2 points or 3 points or I don't know. So I think basically my initial diagnosis of this album is that prognosis of this album is that it deserves a 9.5. I think it's very close to what I would consider a perfect album, but that one song is just so out of place.
So I don't really have a problem with Got on Time at all. Or what is it called?
Got the time.
Got the Time, rather. I don't really have a problem with that at all. Is it out of place? Oh, definitely. But I think it's good enough to where, like, again, it's so ahead of its time. Like, if they would
Yeah,
have
but
structured an album.
it feels like you've switched albums for a song, and then you came back to
I
the
mean,
album.
yeah, fair enough. But, like, you have to give credit where credit is due. If they would have made an album centered around that song or that sound, they would have printed a gold mine.
Probably.
Or maybe not. Maybe it would have been too ahead of its time. But I think, like, give it a couple years, release that song, and release an album centered around it, and you would have printed money. But that
And
being
for the
said,
record, it is one of their most popular songs.
yeah. So that being said, I think my biggest problem is it as memorable as what is it? The Inner Light or whatever it's called.
What?
Is it as memorable as the other Anthrax I've listened to? And I would say generally no. That being said, it is still technically really good. In fact, probably technically better than the other Anthrax albums I've heard. Memorability and just overall, like there is no Indians on this. Like, that is a song I listened to and immediately got hooked on. There's no, I think, song like that. Like, maybe Keep It in the Family is probably the closest thing. And so objectively, I would say it's like a 9.5. For me, maybe a 9 or an 8.5.
That's fair, I think.
Yeah.
I think the reason I gave it a 9.5 is because, like, the memorable songs, Time, Blood, Keep It in the Family, Gridlock, One Man Stands, Belly of the Beast, those are really, really memorable songs. They're really good. I would say they're at least on par with most of Among the Living. Are they as good as Cotton Amash, title track, Indians? Maybe not, but I mean, it's hard for every song by a band to be a masterpiece, you know?
And also, like, I've only listened to, I think it's called Among the Living, right?
Yeah, that's the name of the album, yeah.
Yeah. I've listened to that and this album the same amount of times, once. And I can, like, granted, it could be this format, but I still think, like, Among the Living, like, immediately caught me. Like, I was immediately like, yes, this is an amazing album. I would listen to this again. This, I
Yeah.
would listen to it again, but I wouldn't be as enthusiastic to do so. And I hate to just say this album is bad as compared to other albums, and it's not a bad album. Like I said, it's technically speaking the best album I've heard by Anthrax, but I personally don't think I'd like it as much.
You should give State of Euphoria a try too. Again, I know that apparently is a controversial album, but there are more memorable songs on that you might like more, like Antisocial. That's probably like their biggest song even.
I'll listen to maybe I'll listen to that album and the Slayer album tonight.
Okay, I mean if you want.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to do tomorrow.
I don't know, but let's go ahead and wrap this up because my hand is really getting tired.
Yeah, all right. Oh, wouldn't be the first time, babe.
Oh, dude.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we have been Tyler and Logan from Audioholics Anonymous. This has been the Audioholics Unite podcast, and we bid you adieu. Bye-bye.
One nation, under rock, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excuse you, it's under Barack.
No, one nation under attack, I think it is. Bye.